السلام على رسول الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we praise blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, the members of his household and all those who follow his footsteps until the day of Qiyamah. Today we promise to look at the book Shama'il Muhammadiyyah of Al-Imam At-Tirmidhi, or as we shall soon explain, by Imam At-Tirmidhi, by Imam At-Tirmidhi alayhi rahmatullah. And we also intend to explain a little bit about who the Imam is rahimahullah. So our class today inshallah will be very, very, very brief, and we'll go into the book proper in the next class inshallah. So today we'll introduce this book. This book is Shama'il Muhammadiyyah wal Khasa'is al-Mustafawiyah by Al-Imam Abu Isa Muhammad ibn Sawra, Muhammad ibn Isa ibn Sawra At-Tirmidhi rahimahullah. The book first, or the Imam first? The Imam first, because he wrote the book rahimahullah. Al-Imam At-Tirmidhi, his kunya is Abu Isa. And you would observe that each time we talk about Imam At-Tirmidhi, we always mention Abu Isa, or something to distinguish him from the rest of the people who are from the people of Tirmidh amongst the scholars of Islam. The Imam Al-Hafiz Al-Allama AbdurRahman ibn Abdurrahim Mubarakpuri, who did the Sharh of Sunan At-Tirmidhi. There are other people who did the Sharh of Sunan At-Tirmidhi, like Imam Ibn Arabi Al-Maliki and others amongst the scholars who have done the Sharh of Sunan At-Tirmidhi. So I'm referring to Tuhfatul Ahwadi, which is the Sharh of Sunan At-Tirmidhi by Imam AbdurRahman ibn Abdurrahim Mubarakpuri. He was saying that from amongst the most popular amongst the scholars who are popularly known as At-Tirmidhi, there are three of them. The first of them, if we look at it in Tabaqa, is the one that is referred to as Al-Imam At-Tirmidhi Al-Kabir. Al-Imam At-Tirmidhi Al-Kabir is from the Aqran, or from the teachers of Imam Bukhari. So in his own Tabaqa, he is earlier than Imam At-Tirmidhi Sahibus Sunan. Imam At-Tirmidhi At-Tirmidhi Al-Kabir, he is of a greater Tabaqa. He came earlier than Imam At-Tirmidhi that we now know as Sahibus Sunnah, Abu Isa, that we are talking about today. So he is referred to as At-Tirmidhi Al-Kabir, and his own name is Ahmad ibn al-Hasan At-Tirmidhi. He is Ahmad ibn al-Hasan At-Tirmidhi Abu al-Hasan. So he is in the level of those from whom people like Imam At-Tirmidhi took from, Imam al-Bukhari took from, and Imam At-Tirmidhi also, Abu Isa, took from Abu al-Hasan At-Tirmidhi. So he is referred to as what? At-Tirmidhi Al-Kabir. The other Tirmidhi who came and is known is our Imam that we are talking about today. So each time they mention his name, they will say Sahibus Sunan, so as to distinguish from At-Tirmidhi Al-Kabir. The third Tirmidhi is Al-Imam At-Tirmidhi. They will refer to him as Sahibun Nawadirul Usul. There's a book called Nawadirul Usul, Sahibun Nawadirul Usul. So they will say At-Tirmidhi, or they call him Al-Hakim At-Tirmidhi, or At-Tirmidhi Al-Hakim. They can call him At-Tirmidhi Al-Hakim. He is different from At-Tirmidhi Sahibus Sunan. This book, Nawadir al-Usul, this is important here especially because Many times there are a lot of ahadith in Nawadir al-Usul that are da'ifa and mawdu'at. There are a lot of mawdu'at and da'ifa in Nawadir al-Usul. So because people say that it is written by At-Tirmidhi al-Hakim, they would think that it is usually referred to, it is referring to Imam At-Tirmidhi, Sahib al-Sunan. So ulama have mentioned these names. People have mentioned him too. Imam Abdul Aziz Ibn Waliyillah Dahlawi, he has a book he referred to as Bustanul Muhaddithin. He said these things should be mentioned such that people should not mistake Imam At-Tirmidhi, Sahib al-Sunan, for At-Tirmidhi al-Hakim, because they even lived at about the same period. At-Tirmidhi al-Hakim and At-Tirmidhi Sahib al-Sunan lived around the same time. So these things should be mentioned. Ulama, the scholars of hadith, will say lit-tamyiz, so that will make a difference between all these scholars from At-Tirmidhi. But the Tirmidhi we are talking about is Abu Isa Sahib al-Sunan. So these few clarifications very quickly on Imam At-Tirmidhi and the rest who were also popularly referred to as At-Tirmidhi. Imam Abu Sa'd As-Sam'ani in Al-Ansab, he mentioned other scholars who are from Tirmidh, but the most popular of them are those three that we had mentioned. And the most popular of those three is Sahib al-Sunan, Al-Imam Abu Isa Muhammad ibn Isa Ibn Sawra. People say Ibn Surah. It is Ibn Sawra. The writing is as if you are writing Surah, but it is Sawra. Ibn Musa Ibn Dahak As-Sulami At-Tirmidhi. People also refer to him as Al-Bughi. Al-Bughi, Bugh is the name of the area in the city of Tirmidh where Imam At-Tirmidhi was born. So they say, like someone living in Tudun now, he can have ascription to Tudun Power if he's a scholar, especially of hadith. They are the ones who are referred to, who employ all of what is around them to describe. As you are mentioning their name, you almost know everything about them. So that's why we see in the books of Tarajum where even Imam At-Tirmidhi is mentioned, they will also add, they will say Ad-Darir. Because Al-Imam At-Tirmidhi towards the end of his life could not see again. لِكَثْرَةِ بُكَائِهِ. Imam At-Tirmidhi used to cry a lot. Sahib al-Sunan, I mean, Abu Isa. He used to cry a lot. And then he went blind. Darir is usually said that he had bad sight as a result. He could not see as others who, don't have problems with their eyes see. It's different from being an ama. So he was a Darir. So when they mention his name, they will say At-Tirmidhi, Al-Bughi, As-Sulami, Ad-Darir, because he had problems with his eyes. Some of the scholars said that he was born blind, but the ulama refuted it and said no, he wasn't born blind. People like Al-Imam Al-Zahabi, alayhi rahmatullah. So they say Imam At-Tirmidhi was not born blind. He became blind towards the end of his life, rahimahullah. So like we mentioned, he is As-Sulami. As-Sulami is in ascription to Banu Sulaim, and At-Tirmidhi is in ascription to the city of Tirmidh. The city of Tirmidh occurs in present-day Uzbekistan, and amongst the scholars of hadith, they will say it is Mawara al-Nahar. There is this, if you read especially about Al-Imam Al-Bukhari, they say huwa imamu Mawara al-Nahar. They will say ma taraka Mawara al-Nahar ahadan ahsan min Imam At-Tirmidhi. The Imam Bukhari did not leave anyone Mawara al-Nahar, that is behind the sea, that is all the lands from after the sea. Which sea are they referring to? Is it Mediterranean Sea? Is it River Jordan? Which sea? It is River Oxus. Oxus is its name in Greek. In Arabic it is called Naharu Jihun. This Mawara and this Alif wal Lam, this An-Nahar Lil Ahad, this Ahad is Naharu Jihun in Arabic. So it is called Oxus. So in English they say Mawara an-Nahar, they say it is Transoxania, that is the lands behind the Oxania. So if you look at that river, go to the atlases and look at it, so you'll appreciate these matters more. What we are saying is that Imam al-Tirmidhi is from the ancient Russian nation. That is the implication. It also means that Imam Bukhari is Russian. And actually, when you read the descriptions of these people and you see those people, you really know that's how they look like Russians. And they are actually, the Russian nation is destroyed now. It's Balkanized now. They are also referred to as the Balkans, because that river is also called Naharul Balkh. So they are the ones that are referred to as the Balkans. So that town, Tirmiz, today is in present day Uzbekistan. Bukhara also is in present day Uzbekistan. Present day Uzbekistan. And that is northeast from us, anyway. Northeastern part of the world. So the river is Nahrul Jihun. So Imam al-Tirmidhi is from the city of Tirmiz, and the city of Tirmiz is just around the Nahar. So he's from Mawara and Nahar also. Rahimahumullah. Yeah, the scholars have differed regarding this word At-Tirmidhi. About 2 months before Ramadan, around then, we were performing Salatul Jummah. And the Imam was reading the khutbah. He says, Rawahu Tirmidhi. I wanted to go to him. I said, Tirmidhi? It can't be Tirmidhi. It is Tirmidhi. But on finding, you see that, yes, some of the scholars say it is Tirmidhi. Some say it is Tirmidhi. And that is the most popular, that it is Tirmidhi. But the most correct is that it is Tar-Midhi. Bifathi ta. Tar wa kasril mim. Tar-Midhi. That is the most correct. And that is what Imam Abu Sa'd as-Sam'ani said in his book Al-Ansab, the first volume, page 483. He says, وَالْمُتَدَاوَلُ عَلَى لِسَانِ أَهْلِ تِلْكَ الْبَلْدَةِ. What was common on the tongues, what those people in those places would say regarding their city. And he said, وَكُنْتُ أَقَمْتُ بِهَا إِثْنَيْ عَشَرَ يَوْمًا. And I had lived there for 12 days. Is what? بِفَتْحِ التَّا. Is by calling it tar, وَكَسْرِ الْمِيم, and giving the meme a kasra. So we have At-Tirmidhi. Others have said that is what is common, like Abdulaziz ibn Waliyullah ad-Dahlawi. He says what is most correct is to say At-Tirmidhi, because that is what is most popular. Imam Sam'ani also said, yes, that is what is most popular. But in that city itself, they say At-Tirmidhi. I lived there for 12 days. Abdulaziz ibn Waliyullah ad-Dahlawi is the son of Imam Waliyullah ad-Dahlawi. The longest time was maybe in the last 200 years. He lived in the last 200 years maximum, because if you look at Tuhfatul Ahwadhi, Mubakpuri was also referring to Abdulaziz ibn Waliyullah ad-Dahlawi. So the latest time from now, or to so to speak, the farthest time from now is 250, 300 years from now. And Imam al-Sam'ani lived in those days, rahimahullah. If I'm not mistaken, he lived in the 5th century of Islam. So he has a greater authority. That is one. And secondly, he said he lived there. I was with them for 12 days. What they say amongst themselves is to say At-Tirmidhi. So if you hear somebody says Imam At-Tirmidhi, he has not heard. If he says it is Tirmidhi, he's talking about Al-Mashhur. If he says At-Tirmidhi, he's talking about Al-Asah, what is most authentic. If he says At-Tirmidhi, he's talking about Al-Mashhur, what is most common amongst the people. Either Tirmidhi or At-Tirmidhi. If he says At-Tirmidhi, yes, some people have said so. But it is better to use either At-Tirmidhi, which is most common, or At-Tirmidhi, which is the most correct. So this is Al-Imam At-Tirmidhi, rahimahullah. From amongst those from whom Imam At-Tirmidhi learnt, like we said, was Al-Imam Al-Bukhari, alayhi rahmatullah. It was reported to have been with him for 10 years. For about 10 years, Imam At-Tirmidhi was taken from Al-Bukhari, Abu Abdullah, Sahib al-Sahih, rahimahullah, Imam al-Muhaddithin, or Amir al-Mu'minina fil Hadith. So that is what Imam Bukhari is referring to. And when Imam At-Tirmidhi was talking about Imam Bukhari, He said, rahimahullah, that walam ara ahadan bil Iraq wala bi Khurasan. At Iraq and at Khurasan. Khurasan is a city in Iran. It's in the northern aspect. If you are coming from Wara al-Nahar, Ma Wara al-Nahar, if you cross that Nahar, you come into Turkmenistan. Go and look at that river. It's important in the history of Islam. If you cross that river, you come into Turkmenistan. After Turkmenistan, you are in Iran. Iran has a boundary with Turkmenistan towards northeast. Then south of that, you have Afghanistan. So Tirmiz is closer to Afghanistan too, on the borders, from the borders of Uzbekistan. So if you cross that boundary, that river, you meet Turkmenistan. After Turkmenistan, you are in Khurasan. So Imam Bukhari, Imam Tirmidhi is saying at Iraq, because in those days there was nothing like Iran. It was Iraq. It was Iraq. So he's talking about all of those areas, the whole of their land from behind Mawara Nahar, from Transoxania, and then even from the opposite of Trans is what? From within the Oxania and Khurasan. Is referring to that. Rahimahullah. He says, Ma ra'aytu ahadan bil Iraq wala bi Khurasan. I did not see anyone at Iraq or at Khurasan a'lamu fi ma'na al-ilal wat-tarikh, that is most knowledgeable, or fi ma'na al-ilal wat-tarikh, regarding the meaning of hidden defects in hadith. You see a hadith that is reported. Maybe they say Simak ibn Harb from Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu. Simak ibn Harb is a Sikh Imam. Abdullah ibn Abbas is Sahabi. And Simak and Ikrima and Abdullah ibn Abbas. Simak ibn Harb and Ikrima and Abdullah ibn Abbas. So you report this hadith. Simak Imam, Sikh. Ikrima Imam, Sikh. Ibn Abbas Sahabi, la yus'al anhu. So to you it will be, yes, this is not sahih. This hadith is sahih. But the scholars of Ilal will look at it and say, no, it's not sahih. They will say Simak and Ikrima muttarib. It's ittirab. The riwayat of Simak, yes, is sikah. But when he reports from Ikrima al-Barbari, rahimahullah, the report is error. Any report, Ikrima, Simak, Ibn Harb, and Ikrima, and Ibn Abbas, is error. So you look at it and say, no, yes, this is it. So those kind of defects that may not be ordinarily known by the one who does not have a deep-rooted knowledge in the science of hadith are what is referred to as what? Ilalul hadith. So the knowledge of these kind of things, when you look at a hadith, you know the defects inside. The knowledge of this thing. Wat-Tarikh. And the history, the biography of men. Because someone said, defining biography, defining history, that there is no history except the biography of great men. There is nothing called Tarikh except the biography of great men. It is when you are talking about great men, you start talking about the people with whom they lived. So when you talk about Rijal, that you mention a Sahabi or a Tabi'i or a Tabi'i or those from who reported from them, the knowledge regarding this and their ability to transmit narrations without giving errors in it, and all of this knowledge, wa ma'rifatil asanid, and having a lot of chains of narrations. If you read a book like Fathul Bari, you see about one hadith, Ibn Hajar, there is this hadith, very popular. Let me quickly talk about it. This hadith is the hadith of Khul'u, the hadith of Imra'atu Thabit ibn Qais. Thabit ibn Qais is a Sahabi, but one of those referred to as Al-Mubashshareen bil Jannah, those who've been given glad tidings of Al-Jannah. May Allah make us from the people of Al-Jannah. His wife came to report to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, I'm not complaining about the deen of Thabit. We know this hadith. And I'm not complaining about his khulq. All I'm afraid is to have kufr in Islam. I don't want to have kufr in Islam. Ulama say he does not want to be stingy. Some say no, he does not want to be ungrateful as a Muslim to what a husband does. When Ibn Hajar was explaining this hadith, the meaning of that hadith will change. To you, it's meaning that between them there is no problem. He's not saying that his deen is not bad. He's not saying that his character is not bad. I'm not coming to complain about that. I just am afraid that as a woman, I may not be grateful enough to good things my husband does to me. So I'm afraid of being that. So I want him to divorce me. She came to seek for divorce from the Prophet. If you read Fathul Bari, you see the meaning of that hadith will change. Because what happened was that Darabaha wa kassara yadaha. Thabit ibn Qais beat his wife and broke her hands. But what she said, that she's not complaining about his character and his deen, is that I'm not complaining about the fact that he beat me and broke my hands. So what I'm complaining about is something else. As for that one, I've overlooked it. That's not the area of complaints. Do you understand? So the meaning will change because of what asanid. This ziyada is in the ziyada of Al-Imam Al-Tabrani, first Al-Imam Al-Nasa'i and Al-Imam Al-Tabrani. You see it in their own riwayah. But in the riwayah of Bukhari, you will not see it there. So riwayat, it is asanid, understanding, having chains of narrations. When we read the hadith of Sadiq al-Masduq, you saw how based on riwayat, the meaning of that hadith will be changing. So this knowledge of asanid and riwayat, I have not seen anybody who knows it. Kabiru ahadin a'lamu min Muhammad ibn Ismail. I've not seen any great single person who has the knowledge of all these things like Muhammad ibn Ismail. Is referring to who? Al-Bukhari, his teacher rahimahullah. So as much as this respect that Imam al-Tirmidhi had for Imam al-Bukhari, Imam al-Bukhari said about him rahimahullah, Bukhari said about Tirmidhi rahimahullah, that mastafattu minka aksar mimma stafatta minni. After 10 years, what I have gained from you is more than what you have gained from me. What I have gained from you, Imam Bukhari said to Tirmidhi, his students, for 10 years, what I have gained from you, mastafattu minka aksar mimma istafatta minni. And if you look at the books of Imam al-Tirmidhi, you will always see, even in Sunan al-Tirmidhi, you will say Sa'altu Muhammad anha faqala kada, Sa'altu Muhammad anha faqala kada. So this is the kind of personality that Imam al-Tirmidhi had. If you know who Bukhari was and is, and he's saying that about at-Tirmidhi, it describes who Imam al-Tirmidhi himself was rahimahullah in the science of hadith. He was a great Imam rahimahullah. And that was why Al-Imam al-Zahabi alayhi rahmatullah and others have raised a lot of comments of praise about him. If you go to Siyar Alam Nubala, you'll see. But the one who has compiled more about those words is Imam Mubakpuri in the Muqaddimah of Tuhfatul Ahwadi. Very, very, very beneficial about Imam al-Tirmidhi. From the comments about Imam al-Tirmidhi is that by Al-Imam Abu Sa'id al-Idrisi. He said rahimahullah that Kana Abu Isa يضرب به المثل في الحفظ. Abu Isa is the one, if you want to say someone has great ability to memorize, an example of such persons, Imam al-Tirmidhi. So he brought a narration of what happened to Imam al-Tirmidhi. He had reported a hadith from one of the shuyukh. The hadith of that Shaykh, he had reported the hadith of that Shaykh in about 2 volumes. So once he was traveling to Hajj, and he was told that is Shaykh so and so and so. He didn't mention the name of the teacher, of course, Tawadu'an. So that is so and so from whom you had narrated hadith. He said, that's so and so. Okay, let me go and meet him, so that he can now have the ahadith bil ulug. This is common with the scholars of hadith. If they heard something from you that another person reported, the day they met that person, they want to get that report from that person. It is from the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know the hadith of Dimam ibn Tha'laba. Dimam had heard Islam. When he came, he started to ask the Prophet again about Islam. Allahu arsalaka bil huda, Allahu amaraka an nusalli, Allah, and he started asking the Prophet. The hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim. The hadith of Dimam. So ulama use this as evidence for talabul ulum. They want to get the report directly from the one who has reported it. The Prophet himself did that. Anyway, I'm trying to say that the scholars of hadith like ulub. So Imam At-Tirmidhi wanted to report the hadith from the person who had reported it directly. So he went to him and said, I have your hadith. Can you please read it to me so that now I have it directly from you? So the Imam started reading. Imam At-Tirmidhi said, I had thought that the book I had with me, my compilation of hadith, was the hadith of this Shaykh. But when I opened it, I found it empty. It was not anything. It was just 2 volumes that I kept that I could be writing with it. So the hadiths are not there. So am I going to verify what I have gotten from him before? 2 volumes. How am I going to do that? So the Imam was reading the hadith to him. He didn't stop him. Imam At-Tirmidhi did not stop the Imam. So he was reading the hadith to him. And Imam At-Tirmidhi was memorizing the hadith as it was being read to him. So the Shaykh saw that I was not right. Say, why are you not writing? Say, I didn't know. Why are you not checking? Say, I didn't know I was not having my compilation with me. But as you are narrating it now, I'm memorizing it. So the Imam said, are you sure? He said, yes, I'm sure. So read it to me. He said, فَقَرَأْتُهُ عَلَيْهِ وَمَا حَرَّفْتُ حَرْفًا. So I read it to him and I did not change one harf. So the Imam was surprised. You read that one, your mind? He said, yes. So okay, he says, فَحَدِّثْنِي بِغَيْرِهَا. So that it will not be that, okay, you had memorized those ones before you came. Tell me another one. He says, فَحَدَّثَنِي بِغَيْرِهَا فَقَرَأْتُهُ عَلَيْهِ. He said, so he narrated others to me. And I read it to him. وَمَا حَرَّفْتُ حَرْفًا. I did not change any word. So this was, so someone is narrating and he's talking. So okay, tell me what I have said. And he started telling him what he had said. There are many amongst the scholars of Islam that were like this. People like Al-Imam Al-Bukhari, people like Qatada ibn Di'ama. I'm talking about people who have qissa, stories, narrations like this. People like Abul Qasim ibn Asakir. They have narrations like this. Someone was looking for his book of hadith. They was with Ibn Asakir. He was looking, say, what are you looking for? So we say, you forgot it. Oh, you forgot it in Khurasan. Can you go back to Khurasan? I can't go back. Okay, let me read them to you. Start writing them. He was reading the ahadith to them. As you read them in the books now, they will read it from their mind. Rahimahumullah. So that was why he said, Kana Abu Isa rahimahullah yudrabu bihi al-mithl fil hifz. As far as hifz is concerned, he is considered an authority to be emulated. When you want to describe hifz, one of those to do that with was Al-Imam At-Tirmidhi rahimahullah. Others amongst the scholars of hadith have spoken about him rahimahullah, like Al-Imam Hafiz ibn Hajar rahimahullah in his book very popular Taqrib al-Tahdhib. He says when he referred to Tirmidhi that Ahdul A'imma, he says one of the leading scholars, Thiqatun Hafizun, very reliable in his character, in his adala, trustworthiness, ability to narrate, in his doubt. Thiqatun, say Hafizun. So he didn't stop at Thiqa. He says Ahadul A'imma, Thiqatun Hafizun. Each of these qualifies him. If he says Ahadul A'imma, it's okay. If he says Thiqatun, it's okay. If he says Hafizun, it's okay. So he added all of them to him rahimahullah. And others too, Imam al-Zahabi, others spoke about him. In this sense, let's also quickly mention some things about Imam al-Tirmidhi. We have said this popularity about him from his books. Before we come to that, from his books, the best and the most popular of his book is his Sunan, that's referred to as Al-Jami'. It's the Sunan al-Tirmidhi, Imam al-Tirmidhi. And the way he has written the Sunan, he picked benefits from Sahih Bukhari, he picked benefits from Imam Muslim's Sahih, and he added to it. What he added to it was, one, about every hadith he spoke about hidden defects, ilal about the hadith. He spoke about the rijal of the hadith. That's not found in Bukhari and Muslim. Even when he had made tabweeb like they made tabweeb, and he had made musharaka with them, many of their own teachers. So, but in his own case, he added, he will say this hadith has a problem like this,
Or it could be reported like this. He say, brought wafil bab. Someone recently, 4 days ago, a Shi'i was writing about Ashura. That some Ashura, the ahadith are fabricated. Even when those ahadith are in Bukhari and Muslim. You know, a Shi'i. So because of course that was the day Hussein was killed, radiyallahu anhu. So Muslims should not be fasting. And those fasts that Muslims should fast was a lie, was a fabrication and all of this. So what he was saying, he said the ahadith were reported by Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu, was reported by Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, was reported by Abu Huraira and all of these. And all of them were not, present in the event. He said Ibn Abbas was small when Prophet came after Hijrah. The Prophet, in one of those alfaz, it was said that the Prophet came to Medina sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and found the people fasting. He said, so Ibn Abbas was small then. He said Abu Huraira accepted Islam in the 7th year of Hijrah. He said Abu Musa al-Ash'ari was not even there at all. He said, so where did they get the hadith? He said, lie. So one of the things that belie them, just go to Wafil Bab in that hadith in Sahih Bukhari. You see all the names of those he could get that had reported the hadith, whether the isnad is sahih or not. So if you count those companions, they are not less than 10, including Ali ibn Abi Talib. He reported the hadith of Ashura. Aisha radiallahu anha reported it. Abdullah ibn Umar reported it. And others, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud reported it in Bukhari. And others amongst the companions. Imam Tirmidhi added that to his sunan. So if he brings a hadith from a companion, he will say, Wafil Bab. That is, this hadith has also, or regarding this matter, you find the report of so-so companion, so-so companion, so-so companion. That's not found in Bukhari and Muslim. Nowhere in Siyar Alam Nubala, Imam al-Zahabi brought a narration from one of the A'imah who said that in his view, Sunan al-Tirmidhi is more beneficial to the people. He said because everyone who knows about hadith will benefit from Sunan al-Tirmidhi. But at Bukhari and Muslim, you can't make much benefit from it except you yourself, you're a scholar of hadith. I say, well, that's just one way of looking at the matter. Else, the fact that whenever you read a hadith in Sahih Bukhari or Muslim, you are sure that it is sahih. It suffices for both scholars and non-scholars. But when you look at these fawaid that he added to his book that were not in previous books, you tend to respect the scholarship and the personality of Al-Imam At-Tirmidhi. So he learnt and built upon what he learnt. Ni'mat talibu huwa. It's from the best of students. He learned from his teachers. He used their own and said, okay, I add this to it. Rahimahullah. So that was Al-Imam At-Tirmidhi. So from his book is Sunan At-Tirmidhi. And at the end of that book, he wrote a book called Al-Ilal As-Saghir, like an appendix to the book, explaining hidden defects of hadith in the book. He also has another book, Al-Ilal Al-Kabir. And then they said he has a book of tafsir too. And all of these. Rahimahullah. But from the best of his books is Sunan At-Tirmidhi. And after that, the most popular of him is this book we are reading, Shama'il al-Muhammadiyyah wal-Khasa'isu al-Mustafawiyah. Rahimahullah. There is a matter that some people say. I read it on the net about 2 years ago. Somebody came and said, oh, Al-Imam Ibn Hazm rahimahullah said that Imam At-Tirmidhi is majhul. Majhul, someone who is an unknown person, he is not known. So yes, he could be majhul in Ibn Hazm, Abu Muhammad al-Andalusi, al-Zahiri, rahimahullah. Yes, he is majhul. Who la ya'rifuhu? It is Imam Ibn Hazm does not know Imam Tirmidhi. La there. Because Ibn Hazm rahimahullah, despite his knowledge and his emphasis upon following the Sunnah, rahimahullah, he never left Andalusia. The highest he came was Africa. He came to Africa. But he didn't leave this area. He came to Maghreb, Africa, North Africa, and then Andalusia, Spain, ancient Spain. Islam was there for over 600 years. When you hear Imam al-Qurtubi, it is talking about Cordoba. Cordoba does not have another name. It is Qurtubi. So Islam ruled the city for over 600 years. And his father and his forefathers were rulers in the city. So Ibn Hazm did not come, he did not go to Hijaz at all. He did not go to Arabian Peninsula at all. He did not perform Hajj at all. Ibn Hazm, he didn't have the opportunity. So he did not see Sunan al-Tirmidhi. So it's not a blame if they ask him, Abu Isa Muhammad ibn Isa, Majhul. I don't know him. But that is not evidence over those who know him. And that's why from the scholars of Usul, they will give us a legal maxim, a Qaida Usuliyah. They will say, Al-Muthbit Muqaddamun Al-Nafi. Someone who is affirming that there is something, it should be giving preference over the one that is saying something does not exist. And that's why if you say something exists, they say Al-Hujjatu ala man idda'a. You are claiming that it exists. Okay, give us the Hujjah. And this is the Hujjah. There was a man called Imam Tirmidhi. How do we know? Okay, look at him. He lived in so place. He's from Tirmidhi. He met so person. He's from the student of Bukhari. He wrote so book. He wrote book of Tafsir. This is the book of Tafsir. This is this. Is that no evidence that he existed? And that's evidence of his imamah too. So it means the one who does not know will remain silent. Imam al-Zahabi in Mizan al-I'tidal, Al-Imam al-Hafiz ibn Hajar rahimahullah in Tahzib al-Tahzib have discussed this matter. They have given the response that the reason was that Imam Ibn Hazmi did not come across Sunan al-Tirmidhi, did not come across the books of Imam al-Tirmidhi. And it's not him alone. Imam al-Bayhaqi rahimahullah, he also did not come across Sunan al-Nasa'i. He did not come across Sunan al-Tirmidhi. He did not come across Sunan Ibn Majah. Bayhaqi, Abu Bakr al-Bayhaqi, the student of Imam Hakim, Abu Abdullah al-Nisaburi, he did not come across Sunan al-Tirmidhi. So they are talking about what they knew. So the one who does not know is not hujjah over the one who knows. Rather, it is the other way. The one who knows is hujjah over the one who does not know. So don't be shy one day. Somebody shy one day, and somebody comes and say, "Oh, you are reading the book of Tirmidhi. Tirmidhi majhul." In the man, majhul indaka ma'lum indana. He is majhul to you, but we know him. He is one of the ai like Al-Imam al-Zahabi said rahimahullah, or Imam Hafiz ibn Hajar said, I said ahadul ai-imma siqatun hafizun rahimahumullah. There's another matter around that too, rahimahullah. The nusus are here because I'm not reading them. That's why I'm saying that you should go and look at them. Look at Mizan al-I'tidal. You see the response of Imam al-Zahabi on the issue of Ibn Hazmi, and he's saying that he is majhul. If you look at Tahzib al-Tahzib of Ibn Hajar, you see the response of Ibn Hajar there. There is a matter that has been raised again by Abdul Aziz ibn Waliullah ad-Dahlawi in his Bustan al-Muhaddisin, that there are narrations from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that it is prohibited to make takanni with the word Isa. It is prohibited to refer to yourself as Abu Isa. He says because li'anna Isa la abun lahu. So don't say Isa alayhi salam did not have a father. So don't say Abu Isa. So they say to do that is makruh. But meanwhile, Imam al-Tirmidhi in his book, he will say waqala Abu Isa in his Sunan. Each time he finishes narrating a hadith, he wants to mention some defects about the hadith, or he wants to establish the hadith, or he wants to quote some madhab fiqhiyya on the hadith. He will say qala Abu Isa. Abu Isa said, he referring to himself, Imam al-Tirmidhi. So why was he doing that if it was makruh? Yes, those hadiths were reported by Imam Abu Dawud. He didn't report any of those ahadiths in his Sunnah that showed that to refer to yourself as Abu Isa is makruh or prohibited. The first hadith is mentioned to have been from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Anna rajulan iktana bi Abi Isa, that someone took his kunya as Abu Isa. فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, and then the Prophet said صلى الله عليه وسلم, إن عيسى لا أب له, that certainly Nabi Isa alayhi salam did not have a father. It also reported by Imam AbdurRauf in his Musannaf. Then there is also the hadith of Umar ibn al-Khattab, that one of his children, his name was Abu Isa. He took his kunya Abu Isa. So said Umar radiallahu anhu called him, flogged him and told him to change the name. That Nabi Isa alayhi salatu wasalam does not have a father. So how can you say Abu Isa? La abun lahu. Told him to change the name. This second hadith is in Sunan Abi Dawud and it is authentic. That Umar did that radiallahu anhu. There is also the hadith between Umar radiallahu anhu and the companion Mughira bin Shu'bah, that Mughira bin Shu'bah, the Prophet ﷺ once referred to him, Ya Aba Isa. And then he started to refer, because he was Abu Abdullah. So one day he visited Umar radiallahu anhu, he was asking, who is that? I say, Abu Isa. He can't say, you Abu Isa? Say, yes, Abu Isa. He said, you should stop it, that Nabi Isa alayhi salam la abun lahu. Isa alayhi salam does not have a father. So don't name yourself that. Say, but Prophet called me Abu Isa. And the rest of the companions radiallahu anhu will say, yes, the Prophet called him Abu Isa. So Umar radiallahu anhu said, you want to say Prophet called you Abu Isa? And who he is forgiving ma qaddama ma akhara min dhanbihi. All his sins before and thereafter have been forgiven. And we are in our way. We don't know what to be done with us. So Umar radiallahu anhu discouraged people from daring Abu Isa. So at least it is makruh based on these narrations. But ulama respond and say no. The first narration is mursal, the one that's ascribed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is a tabi'i reporting a hadith and ascribing it to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hadith mursal. Ma rawahu tabi'iyun marfu'an. What a tabi'i reports in marfu' form, that is ascribing it to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So ma rawahu tabi'i marfu'an. What a tabi'i reports ascribing it to the Prophet. So it's not authentic, it is da'if. So the second response they have on the hadith of, or the author of Umar and Mughira and the rest of the companions radiallahu anhum, is that the ruling, the position of Umar is mawkuf. That the asl is al-jawaz. That if it was not permissible, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would not refer to Mughira bin Shu'bah as Abu Isa. And you know the companions, if the Prophet called them by one name, they don't like to stop using that name. So the aslu, there is a basic permissibility there. That was why the Prophet ﷺ referred to him as Abu Isa. And then when he referred to him, he said, look, Prophet called me Abu Isa. The rest of the companions said, yes, Prophet called him Abu Isa. So it is permissible basically to say one is Abu Isa. Al-Imam Mubarakpuri, like I said, if you go to Tuhfatul Ahwadi, the Muqaddimah, you find a lot of beneficial comments about Imam At-Tirmidhi. So while responding to this, he said, ليس في النهي عن التكني بأبي عيسى حديث مرفوع متصل صحيح صريح. He says ليس في النهي عن التكني بأبي عيسى حديث. He said there is no hadith that prohibits us from taking kunya as Abu Isa. There is no hadith. I'm not just saying hadith. I'm saying a hadith that is marfu', that is from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like the Prophet prohibiting us from doing so. Muttasilun, that's a connected chain of narration, not broken. Sahihun, that's authentic. Sarihun, and clear cut, direct on the matter. I said there is no hadith like that. He says فَالظَّاهِرْ هُوَ الْجَوَازِ. What appears from that hadith of Mughira is the one from where he took evidence to, is that it is permissible. He says وَأَثَرُ عُمَرْ فَلَيْسَ فِي حُكْمِ الْمَرْفُوعِ. The author of Umar radiallahu anhu does not have hukm al-raf'. It's not something that can be ascribed to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Kama la yakhfa, as it is not unclear, that is, as it is clear. So the Prophet has shown that it is basically permissible. This statement is in Tuhfatul Ahwadi, the Muqaddimah of Tuhfatul Ahwadi. So don't say, don't let it be a burden. But that I read one hadith in Sunan Abi Dawud that shows that somebody should not make at-takanni with Abu Isa. So yes, there are narrations that shows that it is what basically permissible, because the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam referred to Mughira bin Shu'bah as what? Abu Isa. That is about Imam At-Tirmidhi. So he is the one who wrote this book, Shama'il al-Muhammadiyyah. There are other things about Imam At-Tirmidhi, the way he handles ahadith and all of that, but that may be beyond the scope of these discussions here. But I think these ones are very beneficial. When you say Abu Isa At-Tirmidhi, say, oh, it is makruh to have Abu Isa. No, say it is permissible. What is the evidence? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam referred to a companion as what? Abu Isa. So Sunan At-Tirmidhi, Shama'il al-Muhammadiyyah, this book, is one of those books, like we said, by Imam At-Tirmidhi. Before Imam At-Tirmidhi, some scholars had written on Shama'il. And this author, Jazahullah Khairan, or this Muhakkik, Muhammad Abdul Aziz Al-Khalidi, who did this tahqiq of Shama'il al-Muhammadiyyah by Darul Qutub al-Ilmiya in Lebanon, he tried, rahimahullah or hafizahullah, whichever one is the case, he tried to compile those who had written Shama'il al-Muhammadiyyah. But what he did was, he only compiled the names of those who wrote Shama'il al-Muhammadiyyah after Imam At-Tirmidhi. Before Imam At-Tirmidhi, he did not mention anyone. And some of the scholars had written on Shama'il al-Muhammadiyyah before Imam At-Tirmidhi. I'll just give reference. If you go to the book As-Siratun Nabawiyya As-Sahiha, if you read the Muqaddimah by Dr. Diya Al-Umari, he mentioned those who had written Shama'il. I had written them, but for time we have to go. So if you look at it, that book in its Muqaddimah, you see those who had written about Shama'il before Imam At-Tirmidhi. So but this, what the author has done here, Jazahullah Khairan, of all the muhakkikun, those who had done the tahqiq, is the one who only did that. Someone did the tahqiq of a sharh of Shama'il, but he did not, he only mentioned 2 or 3 or 4 people. I was surprised. Those who had done Shama'il al-Muhammadiyyah after Imam At-Tirmidhi, he mentioned 20. He will mention the name of the alim, he will mention the name of the book, and he will even tell you whether the book had been published or not to his knowledge. 20. Those who wrote on Shama'il, including Imam Suyuti. He wrote in, there is nothing he didn't write. He wrote everywhere he has a book. Suyuti rahimahullah. So he compiled that, and then he also did a very great benefit. I asked one of the scholars recently, how many books of sharh can we have on Shama'il? He says 2 or 3. He mentioned that of Imam AbdurRauf al-Munawi, and he mentioned that of Imam al-Haytami. But this brother, mashallah, Jazahullah Khairan, he mentioned 19 books of sharh. 19 on Shama'il al-Muhammadiyyah. He really did a nice work, Jazahullah Khairan, to make us know that those books exist. Alhamdulillah. So these are the works that had been done on Shama'il. Some of them did ikhtisarat, they did Mukhtasar Shama'il al-Muhammadiyyah and others. So that is Shama'il al-Muhammadiyyah. And like we mentioned earlier, we're reading from the Mukhtasar by Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah. And whenever a hadith has some benefits in the asanid that we need to talk about, because he made hazful asanid, we will go to those books wherein the asanid has been mentioned. Like even the first hadith, it's a tremendously wonderful hadith from the aspects of its asanid. That hadith is reported by Imam At-Tirmidhi from Imam Qutayba ibn Sa'id. Qutayba ibn Sa'id al-Baghlani is one of the scholars from whom all the Ashab Kutub al-Sittah have reported hadith. Bukhari reported from him, Muslim, Abu Dawud, Tirmidhi, Nasai. They all reported from Qutayba ibn Sa'id. And Imam Qutayba ibn Sa'id, he has a lot of benefits. He's a wonderful Imam in the science of hadith, because Allah gave him long life. He lived so long. Huwa musnidu zamani, Qutayba ibn Sa'id. And he has reported this hadith. He is from those for whose sake Imam Bukhari did not report hadith from Imam Shafi. Because Imam Bukhari did not meet Imam Shafi. So if he was to report a hadith from Imam Malik through Imam Shafi, there will be 2 persons between himself and Al-Imam Malik. And who yatlubul ulu. So he will cut that hadith and will be looking for those whom he met from the students of Imam Malik, who will give him the hadith of Imam Malik. So it's like reporting from Shafi'i himself. So from those that he used was Imam Qutayba ibn Sa'id. There are others, like Abdullah ibn Yusuf al-Tunaisi, like Abdullah ibn Maslama, like Hisham ibn Ammar. They are from those who learned from Abdullah ibn Qanab al-Qanabi. They are from those who learned from Imam Malik directly, from whom Imam al-Bukhari reported hadith. So he did not need to go through the chain of Imam Muhammad ibn Idris al-Shafi'i. So Qutayba ibn Sa'id is one of them, and this hadith is from him. So you can see he's reporting from Imam Malik. This first hadith also occur in Sahih Bukhari. Perhaps who are Imam Tirmidhi Sharak al-Bukhari fi riwayati an Shaykhihi Qutayba ibn Sa'id. Perhaps he has reported this hadith with the same isnad that Imam Bukhari has reported that hadith. But instead of reporting it from Bukhari, because he also reported it from Qutayba ibn Sa'id, he directly mentioned Qutayba ibn Sa'id. And you can see, he has also made ulu, because Qutayba ibn Sa'id is reporting directly from Imam Malik ibn Anas, Imam Dar al-Hijrah. It's a wonderful isnad. And this hadith is also from the riwayah of Al-Imam Rabi'a ibn AbdurRahman, Ibn Abi AbdurRahman, the teacher, one of the most popular teachers, Imam Rabi'a, one of the most popular teachers of Al-Imam Malik rahimahullah, and he is reporting from Anas ibn Malik. So you can see Imam Malik ibn Anas, baynahu wa bayna sahaba rajulun wahid. So this isnad is a wonderful isnad. My brothers, this is why I used to believe that when you are reading Sahih Bukhari and you cannot identify these things, you are wasting your time, because they are from the major benefits of Sahih Bukhari. So when I just looked at this isnad, I said this isnad is wonderful. If we are reading Shama'il and we just go like this, I will like it personally. So brothers, anytime we find some benefits like this, we mention them. One of the greatest problems today in our ummah is that we don't know our past. Muslim, we don't know what has gone past in this ummah. So somebody is doing something now, he's thinking that it's new. When I hear about what happens in some parts of our country now, that in the same way the Khawarijiyah used to operate, just go back to Islamic history. The Khawarij have never operated except like this. Start killing the people one after the other. If you read how Ali ibn Abi Talib was killed, the same way, just some people were killed among us. That's what they say. So we have to revenge. So what do? Don't revenge, don't kill the Muslims on the street, kill the leaders amongst the Muslims, the scholars amongst them. So they start exterminating them like this, like a suicidal attack. They go into the midst of the people, they kill them, they come back, they withdraw, they like that. And the way of operation, from behind the veil, like that. So many things had happened in Islamic history. And if it is piety, if you read about piety of some of the people, you will know that you are not pious. You have to go a long way. You have a long way to go to. And when you are in difficulty, you'll be thinking that some people had been in this condition before. What did he tell the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam towards the end of Hud? He said the reason why he is telling him these stories is what? لِنُثَبِّتَ بِهِ فُؤَادَكَ. So you have tasbih, you have thalj in your qalb, it will calm you. If you didn't have, some people had a problem, read about the problem of Nabi Nuh. I was telling a young boy about Nabi Nuh that he called for 950 years. He said 950. I said yes, da'wah. فَلَبِثَ فِيهِمْ أَلْفَ سَنَةٍ إِلَّا خَمْسِينَ عَامًا. 950. So if you are making da'wah, how many people are you say وَمَا آمَنَ مَعَهُ إِلَّا قَلِيلٌ? That qalil, the highest that the scholars have mentioned is 70. So you have some people saying they are 14, some people saying they are 13, some people say they are 20, they are this. Okay, 70. Add more to it, say they are 100. Somebody did da'wah for 950 years. 950 years. Go and read how he was saying now. دعوت قومي ليلا ونهارا ولم يزدهم دعائي إلا فرارا وإني كلما دعوتهم لتغفر لهم جعلوا أصابعهم في آذانهم واستغشوا ثيابهم وأصروا واستكبروا استكبارا ثم إني دعوتهم جهارا ثم إني أعلنت لهم وأسررت لهم إسرارا أقول to stop. Read the surah. The Imam was doing that for 950 years. So when you read this thing, you felt to be here for Adak. You say, okay, you be patient. And say, وَجَاءَكَ فِي هَذِهِ الْحَقُّ وَمَوْعِظَةٌ وَذِكْرَى لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. So then you serve as admonition for those who come. Those people who are punished should be admonition. Don't do like them so that you are not punished. And all of this. And zikra, reminder for those who believe. So we feel that mentioning some of these things, we find a lot of benefits in it. And then to make us like to read too. Like to read about all these things. Then some of our bigger brothers who have learnt more than the rest of us here, they will have benefits. They have isharat. So we will not be saying to them what they already had known. We'll mention some things that perhaps will open a gate for them, or like to be ziyadatul fa'ida, inshallah. It will not be that all the fawaid will just بمنصب على ترجمة الحديث والبيان حوله. So sometimes we may have to come to the asanid. This isnad is a wonderful one for me. So sometimes we'll have to do that, even when we'll be reading from the Mukhtasar of Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah. Sometimes if we find benefits in the isnad, we'll come to it inshallah and we'll mention it. So bi'idhni rabbina, from next weekend we'll start to the first hadith. And al-Imam al-Tirmidhi rahimahullah, he did not say, there is no muqaddimah in it. He just started with the hadith. Babu ma ja'a fi khalqi Rasulillah. The chapter regarding what has been reported about the khalq of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the build of the Prophet, how is he, direct characters, how is he, his physical features, how does the Prophet look, alayhi salatu wasallam. So that's what we'll describe with this wonderful isnad of Madaniyun, except Qutayba ibn Sa'id. Anas ibn Malik is Madani, Rabi'a is Madani, Imam Malik, Imam Dar al-Hijrah. So wonderful isnad. So read about the hadith inshallah next week. Bi'idhni rabbina. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, wa atubu ilayk. So if there are one question or two, we'll please like to quickly respond to it. Otherwise, we'll postpone all other things until next week, inshallah. Alaikum salam. Yes, it's asking, does this book have isnad? You wonder, do books have isnad in Islam? Yes, books have asanid. Quran has asanid. Usul Sunnah has isnad. It has isnad. Should we? It will take our time if we want to start going to the isnad of this book. So let's do mukhtasar like Shaykh al-Albani did mukhtasar here. But it has asanid. It has those who have reported this book from Imam al-Tirmidhi. This ummah is a wonderful book. Books too have isnad to verify whether it is authentic or not. So you can't falsely ascribe anything to a person, talk less of falsely ascribing something to Allah and His Messenger. So it has isnad, bal asanid. We will not read them, so we'll just go straight to the book. But the book has isnad, inshallah. We'll stop here. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka. Our starting time is 4:30, inshallah.